Hi and welcome. So I wanted to go over something that I found quite interesting. So, before we get started, I just want to go over something real quick. Mostly it's just kind of a disclaimer and a precursor to all this. So, force is equal to mass times acceleration. This is a pretty basic formula if you do anything with physics, and if you do, you probably know this. But so I was kind of curious. So if you're in a lightweight vehicle weighing 3,000 pounds and you are traveling at a speed of 25 miles an hour, you multiply the weight by 25, which equals 75,000 pounds of force at that point. That's how you figure out the force of a 3,000 pound vehicle traveling at 25 miles an hour. So I thought that was quite interesting, because if you then take that generated force of 75,000 pounds and you divide that by, say, the weight of my motorcycle, which is around 460 pounds, interestingly enough, you see that in order to generate the same amount of force going down the road, the motorcycle would have to be traveling at 163 miles per hour. That's pretty interesting. What's even more interesting is if you consider kind of a heavy-duty truck. And I'm not talking about like a tractor-trailer truck, because those can get in excess of, 100,000 pounds going down the road. I'm talking about something that would be like a big landscaping truck, or like a bucket truck, or something like that. That's fairly common to see, like a big commercial truck, right? Figured they have a gross vehicle weight of around 25,000 pounds. That's without a trailer or anything. So we'll say you're loaded up at 25,000 pounds, traveling at 25 miles an hour. You're now generating a force of 625,000 pounds. So, if we again divide that force by the weight of my motorcycle, which is right around 460 pounds, you'll find that the motorcycle would have to be going 1,358 miles per hour, which is faster than the speed of sound. That's pretty incredible, right? That's like really incredible if you ask me, because it's interesting. Now, I know force has a lot to do with how that load is transferred and stuff, but even if you say conservatively, because the profile on a motorcycle is much narrower than that of a truck. So again, it has to do with also how you transfer that energy, which is pounds per square inch and stuff. So obviously the focus of that energy on a motorcycle is going to be transferred in a more focused fashion than a pickup truck, but that still doesn't account for the difference, and this still gives you a pretty good idea of the fact that again, a heavy-duty truck traveling down the road at 25 miles an hour will exceed well, I mean, I cannot go fast enough. It is physically impossible for my motorcycle to go fast enough to create that sort of energy. So, that being said, I was on my motorcycle and I was kind of pondering relativity and how space and time are quite relative. So, this is interesting because if you're traveling faster, you experience time at a different rate than somebody who is moving slower. It's all about speed differentiation. So what's interesting about it is if you follow the theory of relativity, it's a very kind of tantalizing concept to think that you can go faster and experience a slower rate of time than everybody else around you. But you really have to wonder what that feels like and what that would be like. So again, I'm just sitting there pondering on my motorcycle. And then I'm like, wait, It's all about speed differentiation. So if I create a speed differentiation, I will be able to experience relativity. Interestingly enough, yeah, like I said, interestingly enough, to experience this, you'll notice that the faster you go, the more everybody else seems to be quite literally standing still. And I thought that was amazing. I thought that was an incredible thing to experience. And I just, I know from talking to people and just having an idea of generally, well, let's figure, most people on Earth, the overwhelming majority of people on Earth, I mean, well over half of the population, I would say, well, if there's over 7 billion people, I would say probably, in the vicinity of about 6 billion people on this Earth probably have a net worth or create a net worth of less than $10 a week or so. That's really startling, if you really think about it. But I mean, that's the way the world works, and that's the way things are working. But again, what's interesting about that is most people will never be able to experience something like this. So I think it's quite incredible that I was able to experience a scientific principle in my lifetime that is really quite abstract and takes an awful lot of engineering and thought and experience to be able to experience me as a person. That's crazy, right? Isn't that awesome? Science is fucking great. Science is really fucking great.